It's your boy JC.
Let me know what you want. Let me know what you need. You ain't gotta beg, you're a priority. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you need. I know I'm the guy, but I prioritize, yeah. When you in my life, yeah, I'ma pull up on you like real quick. It's a 911 like a real sick. I get everything you need like quick trip. Yeah, yeah, in my life. And I'ma pull up on you like real quick. It's a 911 like a real sick. I get everything you need like quick trip. Yeah, yeah. Gasoline, kerosene, you make it. I feel flames whenever you're close to me. Dial me up whenever you're in need. Ring, ring. Don't hesitate, I'ma call you back. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you need. You ain't gotta beg, you're a priority. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you need. I know I'm the guy, but I prioritize, yeah. When you in my life, I'ma pull up on you like real quick. Cause I ain't one like you real sick. Yeah, everything you need like quick trip. Yeah, yeah, in my life. I'ma pull up on you like real quick. Cause I ain't one like you real sick. Yeah, everything you need like quick trip. Yeah, so don't be tripping cause them other girls ain't you. You got the swag, you make me laugh and you so cool, yeah. That's why you get the drop top action in my cool. No roof for you, let them see you. Let me know what you want, let me know what you need. You ain't gotta beg, you're the priority. Let me know what you want, let me know what you need. I know I'm the guy, but I prioritize, yeah. You in my life.
Oh, when you turn my way, I didn't know what to say. Oh, when you turn my way, I didn't know what to say.
Baby girl, this is new for me. It's pretty evident what you're doing to me. I was dancing with the stars, not a pretty young thing, really got me falling hard. You need attention and I'm down to give it to you. Oh, you a bad thing and I can't let you slip away from me. Plotting on making my move. Baby, you push back and you whine on me. I put my time on it.
You good?
Cool.
Yo. What's good, everybody? It's your boy DJ Uncle Dope, and I'm checking in with one of the most brilliant guys I've ever met in my entire life. Been knowing him my entire life. Um, he goes by many names, but for me, man, I call him Big Bro, Big Boss. I want to welcome y'all to Dope Conversations, and I want to introduce y'all to my guy, Garrick Jones.
What's going on, everybody?
So, thank y'all again for checking in. Like I said, I got my guy Garrick Jones. He is the I call him the general manager hopeful for the Houston Texans. And the reason why I call him that is because this man has a long history with the organization, and he has a lot of visions and a lot of things that he wants to do with the Houston Texans and bring that organization to a level of competition and a level of respect and notoriety in the league. But today's conversation is really more about how he got to this point in his life to where he can even have a conversation about being the general manager. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, Garrick, go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we continue to have this conversation.
Okay, well, first of all, my name is Garrick Jones. I'm a veteran of three different professional leagues. Had the opportunity to play a lot of ball against a lot of great players, and held my own. So I did what I needed to do out on the field. But for me, man, it's always been about business. Coming from North Little Rock, Arkansas, it's not a lot of activity out there in regards to business. I mean, it's pretty much a cap on what goes on out there. But I've always had that entrepreneur spirit by starting my own graphics design company and marketing company in the ninth, 10th grade with one of my good friends, Stacy McKinney. And we've been running that to this day. So I've always been about business and trying to figure out better ways to make sure that I'm feeding my family because the kids can't eat excuses, So my thing has always been just making sure that, even if I'm making strides, just making sure I'm giving back and staying in the philanthropic lane in everything that I do. And that's kind of what was instilled in me, back in Meadow Park and in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Just that hard work, blue collar efforts, things like that carried along with me, everywhere I've gone. I've had the opportunity to be overseas. I've had the opportunities to be in Canada. I mean, I've traveled all over the world, but I've always, kept the hood with me. And that's been the best thing for me in everything that I've done. So, like I say, when it comes down to business, I've had the opportunity to run several businesses, whether they be brick and mortar, network marketing, all those different aspects. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to learn what went on, within the NFL and the CFL and any other FL. That way I would be able to now teach from testimony because I'm a firm believer in if I've never been there before, it's going to be hard for me to tell you how to get to it. And that's always been my motto, and that's why when I had the opportunity after I was done playing to start a league, we said we wanted to do that and just incorporate business in the league and teach these guys and their families the things that we didn't get taught, coming through, NCAAs and high schools and even professional ranks, because once you get to the pros, you're expected to know that. And it's unfortunate that if you've never been exposed to finances and business and entrepreneurship, you don't know anything about it. And X's and O's don't always equate to good business, when you're done playing. So for me, man, I got a rich history in business, but now it's time to take it to the next level and build up these teams the right way and cross some lines and make the history that other people read about. So it's time to make it happen.
So okay, you mentioned a lot of things, and
Mhm.
I want to try my best to pick apart pretty much everything you said. But for the most part, like where did you get your foundation? So you said you grew up in Meadow Park, um, and you from North Little Rock. I would tell you, being from Arkansas, being from Little Rock, being from North Little Rock, I can tell you that. Um, the city as a whole is underrated. We don't get much love. We don't get much respect and notoriety when it
Right.
comes to producing talent out of the city. But more importantly, probably one of the most talented cities within Little Rock is North Little Rock.
Absolutely.
Um, so, what about North Little Rock, or what about your foundation got you to the point of helped you to establish that mentality to for lack of better words, keep that boss mentality and create multiple streams of income with a philanthropic mindset.
Right, right. I think just from what I got, from North Little Rock, was that blue collar mentality. Like my folks, my parents worked, for other people. They worked their jobs up until like the year before last. So they've always worked as long as I've been alive. But I looked at the things that they had to do, the hours that they had to work, the sacrifices that they made, and I said, you know what, if I ever had the opportunity to utilize, what God gave me, which was the size and also the mindset to make some things happen, I was going to take that and I was going to marry that with the hustle. So, man, I learned how to hustle. I learned how to do so many different things. But my thing was, I think the level of ambition that I've always had, was always different. I always wanted something different. I always wanted to be able to go places and see things and I always wanted to be able to walk into a room and change the atmosphere, no matter what it was, for the better. And that's something that you see in a few people. Everybody's not meant to be a leader, but me early on, I figured out, man, I was different. I was always, I could be in a crowd, I could be by myself, and that's kind of the thing that I learned, just kind of watching my parents maneuver and then watching my neighbors maneuver and everybody doing what they're doing. And man, it just kind of with the maturation, man, it just manifested into me being in a position to make some history, and that's all I've ever known how to do. Is just keep chopping wood, if you will, and I think that's the mentality that I got from North Little Rock, man. It was gritty. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the most glamorous city. It wasn't the safest city
Nah.
by any means, but I'm good on any block in the hood, and I'm good in any boardroom at this particular point, and I just happen to make my living on that field, so I'm good out there on the field. So it's one of those things that, man, it's a three-headed monster with me, and I'm proud of that, because I put the work in for it.
So I could tell you, man, coming up, man, we thought you guys were superstars, man. We used to when I was going to Rose City, and we'd come out to the games, whether it's Hall High, North Little Rock, or Pine Bluff, or even
Right.
Central. But I could tell you, man, coming up in North Little Rock, everybody wanted to play for. Was it Coach Nowinski? Was that his name?
Yeah, Coach Narkinski. Yeah.
Narkinski. So
Right.
everybody wanted to play for him because everybody, from what I heard, I never got a chance to play with him because I ended up transferring to Parkview. But
Right.
everybody wanted to play for him because like the type of uh, the type of mentorship that he would ingrain in the players. Or was it him, or was it the system around the team that made North Little Rock that mystical place to be as far as athletes?
You know what, man? I think it's a combination of a lot of the things that the coaches brought to the table. But I think it's even more the athletes that came through. And that's what you got to look at. And it's been like that, from high school to college to the pros. The athletes make the train move. You know what I'm saying? They're the engine. And you have your coaches with, your coaches impart their knowledge and they help mentor these young men in those types of instances. But I think it was a combination of all of it. To be honest with you, man, we had some spectacular athletes come through the city. At that particular point, people wanted to actually come to North Little Rock just to
Yeah.
play. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, North Little Rock was a spot to be. And we always had athletes. We always had, guys that were sleepers. We've always had legends. And you look at the product that has come through North Little Rock, and it's something special, man. To be honest with you, we've had some really, really, really good talent come through, and they've been able to do a lot of different things, man. And I'm just trying to fulfill my end of the bargain when it comes down to representing the North and doing what I got to do, each and every day.
So you left North Little Rock. You went to Arkansas State. Oh, first and foremost, let me break something down to y'all. If anybody seen me and my fingers look jacked up, it's because of this dude right here. hey, we used to play catch in the street, y'all, and if I threw the ball wrong or threw the ball too high, Garrick was drilling me. Like, I mean, literally, hey, he was hitting me with the Brent Fire passes, man. My fingertips was hurting days later. So, and that just goes to testament, man. Like, one of the things I love about my city, one of the things I love about being at home is that it really, the mentality is it really is a village, and everybody around develops and makes you a better person. Like the north side of Little Rock, man. It's like almost like we're all family.
Right.
And that's one of the things for me that outside of my family, my upbringing, that like people like Garrick, man, kept me going, kept me looking up, looking forward, and knowing that, hey, there is another opportunity outside of the city that I can make an impact. So you left North Little Rock, you went to Arkansas State, and
Right.
in reading your bio, I saw that you decided to forego your senior year to join the NFL to go pro because of the personal decision. What was that personal decision that you made, and how do you think it impacted you by making that decision? Like, how did it impact you to make that decision to take that leap to the next level?
Well, at that particular point, man, I had so much going on, personally, that I had to make a decision. Because normally when you go to school, you're going to school, to get your major and do what you need to do, and all those different things, man. And it just was so much going on at school at that particular point, with the coaching staff and the different things with my major, and it was a lot, man. And then I had issues going on back home, and I got to a point, man. It's like I had a fork in the road, and I had to make a decision. And I felt that if I was in the position that I was in, and if I didn't make a move, I wouldn't be any good to anybody, and that's mentally. You know what I'm saying? Just because of all of the things that were going on, with the classes, with the changing of majors without me knowing, with like I said, with the staff that was there, it was a lot of growing pains, but it was a blessing because it taught me how to persevere. It taught me how to really work on myself and understand that I can do anything I put my mind to. So I had to really learn and grow up real quick. I was blessed to play against around 10 guys that were first through fourth round, and I had a lot of personal victories, which was real good, man, for myself because I was on a lot of radars. So I got to a point where I was like, what, the school situation is going to be something that's not for me. And I had, like I said, I had a few things going on at home, some health issues with family members and stuff like that. So I had to make a big boy decision. So I decided to take it home and just try my luck like that, and if I did get a look, cool. If I didn't, I felt like, we can make something happen, and I went home and I helped with the family business and, made sure that I was close to home for my mother and all those different things, man. And, when everything leveled out, that's when I, decided, look, I need to go chase this thing. And that's when I, struck out across the country and, started chasing scouts and all that other stuff like that, man. And eventually got that opportunity. And I took it and I ran with it, and that's really what it's all about.
Okay, so, man, we done did a couple of events together, man. I think the one you did an event, a paint party in Houston, and we had a conversation prior to the event, and you kind of like put in perspective of what it's like for an athlete to take that journey to want to, and in my opinion, kick the doors down to the NFL.
Right.
And I don't know if we're gonna get in trouble for saying this. The NFL mafia. I don't know if they're gonna shoot us or whatever. But man, I didn't know that I didn't understand or know that the process it took to try out for the NFL. Like I didn't know how financially taxing it was just to be seen, at that level. Like we're both student athletes. We're both student athletes, and we're both collegiate student athletes at the same time. But as a track athlete, it's totally different than football, man. Like we didn't have to pay, for lack of better words, pay to be seen. You know what I'm saying? It was like everything was. If you hit a mark, though, that was coming to see you. That was coming to get you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And for the most part, if you hit a mark, if you hit a mark during a season where, say, for instance, college is paying for it, you ain't got to do nothing but pay your entry fee to the trials, and you set. But for the NFL, if you, for lack of better words, wasn't invited to the combine, you paying some type of fee just for them to go say you run a 440 in the 40. You got a 47-inch vertical. You can lift up 225 30 times. Like what's the real deal? So some of these people out here who got dreams and aspirations of being in the NFL or being in any professional sport. I guess we can't speak for that NBA, but that may be the same case. Like what's the reality behind the process? One, you're a student athlete, you broke pretty much all the time unless you got a serious support system to making that transition to actually being able to be seen at the next level to even get an opportunity.
Right. Well, it's about education. It's about being exposed to what the reality is. And that's a lot of what I do with my developmental league with these athletes. So it's the same way with the fans. The fans don't really know exactly what all goes into it, but it's very extensive. It's one of those deals where there's a reason why guys get paid the money that they get paid, and it's a reason why less than 1% of all athletes make it to the NFL or even professionally at that rate. Each year there's around 16,000 draft eligible players, and that's compounded each and every year. But when it comes down to the draft, yeah, it's a lot. When it comes down to the draft, you're only looking at 255 to 256 guys getting drafted
Out of 16,000?
out of 16 racks. Yes, sir. Every year, compounded. So you think about, the odds of making it, and this is the realism of it. You have to really have something about you that differentiates you from everybody else, and to be in that less than 1%. I think 47 to 48% of that 1% is the guys that are free agents. So the guys like myself that came in that made a way out of no way, that type of deal. The guys that are blue collar that are fighting for their jobs each and every day. Because in the NFL, there's no job security, for a guy like myself, because they're bringing somebody in every week to replace you, and people don't understand that level of stress that's there. Trying to keep your jobs, those type, man. It's a big business, man. It's a wonderful game, but it's a terrible business in the same breath. And those are the things that we try to teach and try to just get people to understand, that it's a different monster. So you have to learn the language so it's not a foreign language to you. But yeah, realistically, and this is what I tell the athletes, man, I can be in front of 400 or 500 athletes and I'll tell them, man, listen, none of you guys will go. So, you got to really look at it for what it's worth. But 100% of you guys will have bills, babies, and problems. So let's figure that out and get you to where now.
That's the truth.
Yeah, y'all, that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're about. It's about developing the whole athlete, their families, and being able to teach from testimony. Like I say, if I haven't been through it, it's hard for me to teach you about it because I've gone through everything that you can go through when it comes down to a career, before being a professional athlete, after being a professional athlete, the hardships, the triumphs, the divorces, the bankruptcies, all this stuff, man. I've been through it all. But that's my lesson plan. I get to teach from that. And that's one of the things that I really love about our system with the SDFL is we teach from that testimony. And me being the treasurer of the NFLPA Houston chapter, it's about 1,500 guys here that are former NFL guys. All of us have a story. So now it's just, trying to get that story out to the athletes and their families so people know, and exposing them to what goes on and educating at that point,
So you mentioned you're developing. You have this States Development and Football League. So again, I've been following your whole story. How are you? Or what are you doing to connect or reach the individuals before they even get to the collegiate level?
Well, it's about working with.
And the reason why I asked that is because, again, collegiate athlete. If I would have had somebody that's really schooled me on what did I needed to do to ensure that my collegiate career was a little bit less stressful,
Right.
I would appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely.
So, like, I talked to my oldest man about the clearinghouse. I didn't learn about the clearinghouse till I was in 11th grade, and by that time it was too late.
That's normal. That's right.
And you looking at your grades and stuff, you're like, man, so you mean tell me, but in the 9th grade, I was sitting around here, for lack of better words, bullshitting around with school, and I'm in 11th grade. Now I got to score this in order to get this on the ACT. When
Yes, sir.
if I started at the right time and I kept that cumulative GPA and I was able to maintain at least an average level of ability,
Right.
somebody would have been paying for me to go to school.
Absolutely. That's what we do. It's about exposing as early as you can get them, right? So we have a youth division of our developmental platform. We have a women's division of our developmental platform. We have the men's division, and then we have a wheelchair situation dealing with former military that have had some challenges that now they get a chance to do that. So I'll have to tell you about that in a bit, but we have
Yeah.
that in the pipeline as well. Um, but it's all about education. That's the biggest thing. Coming from where we came from, we were never exposed to that.
Right.
It's all about you going through and learning on your own, and then trying to give back. And that's basically what the situation has been. Me taking everything that I've gone through and now have a curriculum in which that's how I expose the next generation to it. Because realistically, out of about 75 people that you may have, 5 or 6 are really going to get it and they're going to run with it. So everything that you
Mhm.
put in front of them, from the business to the financial literacy to teaching them how to talk to how practicing the camera in front of their face and the microphone in front of their face. Now they're going to take it and it's going to be a lifestyle change. So once the lifestyle change happens, that's when you got Mook, Mook, Man, Mama, and Ray Ray, and everybody else that want to know what's going on because they're no longer borrowing. They're now lending. You see what I'm saying? So now we're taking it from one space to where they don't know anything. They don't have any life insurance. They think GoFundMe is the way you pay for funerals and fish plates and all that. And we're taking it to an ultra high net worth individual space where now they're talking about, digital currencies. They're talking about life insurance. They're talking about, generational wealth. And those are the things that we never were privy to coming up, back in North Little Rock when we came up.
Right.
But the things that we bring to the table are the things that I got a chance to see once I made it. It's some rooms I've been in that I never dreamed of being in my life, but I'm comfortable there because now I say, okay, I can take this back to my people, and we can now, right some of these wrongs that have happened in life, and get past some of these generational curses that were passed down to us, and that's realistically what it's all about.
So, what's one of the? I guess the way I can put it is so like, what's one of the ways that you expose current professional players, former players, and potential professional players? What's one of the ways you expose them to potential gains and how to uh, basically benefit off of who they are as an individual and what their talent is?
Well, with that, it's real simple. Whether you a Pee Wee All American or All Pro, you got to follow them.
Yeah,
It don't matter where you come from, somebody follows you. And because they follow you, that following can be monetized. You just got to learn how to do it. And that's what we, is a part of what we bring to the table for the athletes and even their families and the fans.
right.
Everybody has a network. Everybody has a network, and they can take that network and now get to net worth. And that's where we differentiate ourselves from other leagues. 70% of what we do is what I'm talking about right now. I mean, we haven't talked about an X or O yet. I haven't even, I can talk to you about 4 or 5 hours and I never talk about football. You know what I'm saying? Because it's bigger than a game. And that's where we differentiate from other leagues because other leagues just want to get you out there on the field and run you in the ground. And then 16,000 athletes the next year, it's the next man up. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's unfortunate that it works like that. But that is the mentality of that's how we've always done it. And my deal is this: if you're able to have these guys and have these players play on your teams and for your organizations and then take them and put them in a position where they can take care of their families, you can now set your organization up where you're overriding monies that they're earning for generations to come. So no matter if they're not playing with you ever again, you still have monies coming back into your organization because you took the time out to teach them how to brand, to teach them how to leverage the fact that people were there for them, teach them about the fans and how to relate to the fans. And now you got this athlete who, when they're done, it's not a situation of going broke. It's not a situation of open containers. It's not a situation of the domestic abuse. It's a situation of them now being pillars of the community. And now they got the philanthropic legs under. They got all these different aspects going that now benefit that organization that they once were a part of because you took the time out to teach them.
So I posted I reshared or reposted a clip of Clinton Portis and a couple other individuals and the agent in the
Right,
NFL talking about money. And
right.
man, when Clinton Portis broke down his contract situation, like he got 3 million,
Right.
and by the time he got his check, 500,000 was gone. And
Right.
then between taxes and paying the agent they cut,
Right.
and it's like, yo, you got 500,000 left out of all of that. To me, I ain't even a millionaire. I ain't even making that type of money. But if I won the lottery and I spent 500,000, I start cringing because like, yo, that's half a million. So
Right.
that's half of one of the millions that I done earned, or that I done gained by doing whatever I did. So that put it in perspective, man. It's like, wow, like, so who's really and one of the guys was like, yeah, they take us to these classes, but when they take us to the classes, like they take us to the classes right after they done beat us down, they done ran us through so many drills, and it's
Right.
like, who's really mentally functioning at that point to be able to get what they're saying about managing your money, managing your finances, protecting your licenses, your likenesses and everything. Like, who's really getting that? So I can see why, and I can see why you have established this, and I can see why the success of it is moving in a way to where it's becoming more impactful. Because the last event that we did
Right.
in Houston this past October, what I saw, man, was brilliant. You laid out a couple individuals that were, I say, blessed to be in the room to basically pitch or present a concept that they were managing, and you had professional athletes in the room, and you're showing them like, hey, dude, this is how you make your money last by identifying opportunities to smartly invest the little money that you have, so that if this guy that has a tech company makes it big, and a Facebook or an Apple or
Right.
or Google decides to purchase that product, bro, you just made a
Right.
couple of million because you are an investor into this, and you smartly invested into something. So that, to me, that told me that what you did was you sat back, and you probably had probably hundreds of people that sat down with you and said, hey, I have an idea that I want you to put in the hands of a professional athlete because they got the money. But what you had to do was have your team research the company to make sure it was a smart company for an athlete to put their name behind,
Right.
because you want them to walk out the league and not turn around and say, hey, league, I need money.
Right.
I got all this money. I beat my body up. I need money.
Absolutely.
You want that money working for them while they in the league.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
want to
sir.
do like LeBron James did with Beats by Dre.
Right.
He only bought like 1 or 2% of Beats by Dre, but when Beats by Dre sold to Apple, he made
Right.
20+ million off of that deal.
Off of that deal. Right. Right. Right.
So when I saw that layout, I was like, yo, that is so brilliant that he's laying that platform for professional athletes. But the question I got is, are you doing it for a regular Joe Smo individual, like such as me? If I was sitting there and I said, hey, I like this idea concept, I ain't got a couple of thousand, but I got 500. I want to put behind that project. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
making it available for people like us?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the proprietary recipe of everything that we put together with the State's Developmental Football League and what I'm putting together with Huddle Up Foundation of Houston is just that. It's for the people. It's not just for a particular brand of people. It's not for elite athletes. It's not just for the upper echelon of management or whatever. It's for the people. And when people are exposed to different practices and when people get the opportunity to be educated on it, now they get a chance to now put themselves in that vision and they figure out their purpose. When it comes down to leadership, man, it's about transformational leadership with me. I can take a group of individuals and say, hey, listen, this is the end game, right? This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. But I'm going to delegate things to you guys because number one, I trust you. Number two, I want you to be uncomfortable so you'll grow. And then number three, when that happens, you start to birth other leaders as well. And that's been always been my thing. It's like when you look at various instances with different teams and the things that they go through, it's all about leadership. It
Right,
starts with the leader and it ends with the leader. I don't care who
right,
it is. It's all about leadership. And that's why, the body of the NFLPA Houston chapter, they said, man, listen, we see everything that you're doing, and we see the moves that you make. We see the hustle that you have. We want you to be the president of the Huddle Up Foundation of Houston because we feel like that you can do it. Because unfortunately, when guys are done, they fall into obscurity because they're no longer being cheered for. They pretty much been hiding behind their helmets their whole career. They don't really know how to talk to people. They've never been developed. And that's what I'm doing with a lot of the older guys now is I'm teaching them all the things that we teach the young guys, and we teach their families. I mean, we have programs set up for the spouses where now they have their own identity. So as these guys are out chasing the dream of making it to the NFL. In the event that they don't, their spouses are still good and they're making money and they have their own identity. So there's no regrets there. And then that's when you get into the whole family dynamic and all about communication and all those different things. So everything you talked about is the curriculum that we've been working on for years, and it's things that I've gone through.
So everything you done said so thus far, man, is it's like for you guys out there listening, man. It's like that's to me. Is why a person should be a general manager for a team. I get it. The general manager is he or she makes personnel moves to the benefit of the team, so the team can grow. Eventually get to the point to win a championship. But he's about the people. He's about. I think that everything you said, man. We practice and preach that in the military.
Right.
And to include, we got what's called the Key Spouses Club where we got it set up for military spouses. I think that personally, if something like that, if a person like that was the GM for a team, I think that the mentality of the team would be different. I think the energy of the team would be different because at that point, it's like they know they playing for an individual that actually, for lack of better words, gives a shit about their welfare and well-being, not just you tearing your body up to get a
Right.
championship. Is hey, while you over here beating your head up against the wall to get to the end zone to help Deshaun Watson put that ball in the end zone. Hey,
Right.
over here you need to be knocking this out too, so that when
Right.
if you break your leg and we got to replace you because we're gonna replace you,
You're gonna get
you
replaced.
straight. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The
Right.
NFL can only do so much for you when you after you play. But I need to make sure you straight right now, so you're not losing sleep over. Are you finna get this Mercedes Benz you shouldn't have bought repossessed? You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
how is your campaign, and we call it a campaign, but how's the movement that you started to be the next general manager of the Houston Texans going? Like, how's that? And why
It's
did you
good.
start that movement?
Well, the reason I started it, man, is because I spent a number of years, building out my platform with my league. And everything that my league is what doesn't necessarily happen in the NFL. Right? You have athletes that come through and they generate billions of dollars for the organization. And guys get paid well. But one of the things that I noticed when I played was I was getting paid well, and so was 52 other men, but we weren't getting paid what we were worth. You can get a check and somebody's cutting you a check every 2 weeks. That's a regular job. But with all of the revenue that's being generated, I wasn't getting any of the ticket sales. I didn't get any of the concession money. I didn't get any of the parking or the merchandise money, right? So I looked at it and said, I figured out early that your boss will never pay you enough money to live next door to them. So with that being said, I said, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. So, as my career, progressed, I began learning all of the different ins and outs of the business. So, I mean, I was talking to CEOs, I was talking to team presidents, I was talking to general managers, and I was asking them questions. And while I was with the Houston Texans, I would be going to various functions after practice. So eventually, I was at an event where Bob McNair was there, and we would see each other in passing at certain events, throughout the city. And one day we just caught eyes, and he waved me over. He said, "Man, listen, how is it that you're able to perform at this particular level, and I'm able to see you here, networking and building and doing the things that you're doing. And I said, well, with all due respect, Mr. McNair, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm pretty sure you're building for your sons and daughters and grandkids and all those different things. And he looked at me and he said, okay. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, I know that you won't always be able to play football, but you will always have a job here working for me here at the Texans. So I thought about it. I said, okay. I said, with all due respect again, Mr. McNair, the next time you see me, it'll be a 50-50 type of deal. We're going to work together. I won't be working for you per se. I'm going to bring something to the table that you're really going to like. And, we had the opportunity to catch up at Andre Johnson's Ring of Honor ceremony. And I talked to him really quickly, man. And he just lit up, man. But you could tell that, he was hurt. He was battling for his life when he showed up. And this was after, the little comment that he made, about the players and all those different things like that. And I just told him, I said, man, listen, I said, I'm still here. I'll be around. And I'm going to make sure that I do what I need to do to make sure that what you're trying to build here, we're going to fight for it, because we were the foundational group that every day we put our lives on the line for it. And that was part of the reason why I raised my hand and volunteered to say, you know what, I'll go back in the lines then. I mean, I was comfortable. You know what I'm saying? My family's good. My kids are good. Wife's good. All those different things. But for me, it's the principle of it and understanding what I bring to the table. So once everything started going down with the different trading of different athletes that are cornerstone athletes, just letting guys go, I've been in that position before in professional sports. And I said, you know what, it's time to stop that. It's time to have somebody that understands the dynamic of the players, understands the dynamic of the fans, and understands the dynamic of management and leadership. And be able to bring it all together and just bridge that gap. And I thought, if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be me, and then not to be cocky or brash or anything like that, but I've done it before. When, less than 1% of all athletes make it to the NFL, I did that. And I did that by being me. I did that by understanding what I bring to the table and understanding how to bring out the best in other people. So that way we all can make it. And that's basically what it is, man. I mean, I'd say the campaign is good. We're in front of about 100,000 signatures, probably a little bit more than that now, with the different petitions that are out there. And what I've done is, man, I've taken it upon myself to get into these Facebook groups where I am basically saying, hey, listen, this is me. I want to be the next general manager. And with that, you get a lot of people that'll attack you. And it's cool. I get it. Right. Because everything is based off of emotion with them. So what I do is, if I'm going to be a leader, I'll put that out there. And then from there, I have to teach them that facts don't give a damn about your opinion. And once they understand what they're dealing with and the fact that I've done what I've done and I've been in the different situations that I've been in, and they see that the resume is robust and that, I am that guy, that from there, you start to get more and more people that are fans that start to sign a petition, and you even convert them. And that's basically what I'm doing, man. It's just showing the fans that, listen, I want to be your voice because I know you're voiceless right now, and you don't have anybody in your corner. You're spending all this money, and nobody's really listening. And for a family of four right now, it's about $500 to go to a game. And I'm like, nah, that's not going to work because it's a lot of money. So if you break down the numbers with 100,000 signatures and you divide that by 4, that gives you 25,000 sets of 4, sets of families or whatever of 4. And if you take that 25,000 and you multiply that times that 500, that's $12.5 million a game that I'm in front of. And when you bring me in, now that influence that I'm bringing to the table, that's for me bringing and doing what I'm doing. So when we talk about the proposal and we talk about the interview and the resume and all those different things, bro, if you put me in a room, I'm eating. And they're understanding that I'm there for the greater good of the deal, because I don't want to see this team lose revenue. I don't want to see this team having to go to another city. I want to finish what Bob McNair started. Because I learned a lot from him in business, man. And one thing that he told me and told a lot of guys is if you can separate the emotions and the logic in business and make sure you're dealing in logic, you're going to make a lot more sound decisions. And right now, everything that's going on over there in that building is about emotion. And that ain't going to get it. We can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Can't win with that. That dog won't win.
So you said 100,000. You got 100,000 signatures, y'all, right? And just so y'all know, 100,000 people don't fit in that stadium.
They don't.
So what he just said was he got about 2.5 games of people that's behind him. Could be three
Oh,
around.
that's the entire season. So you look at $12.5 million on the entire season. Now that's people who are
Now
physically here.
17 games. Well, actually, it's 17 games now plus the preseason, and then if they make the playoffs.
You see what I'm saying?
So
So,
you're talking close to 25 games a season.
brother, listen to me. When I tell you these are people that are in other countries, these are people that are in other states, these are fans, right? So my thing was to show, the if you continue down the road that you're going, this is the type of revenue you're going to lose. But me being the person that I am, I don't want to see the organization fail like that when it comes down to that. So my deal was to be such a good candidate when it came down to a general manager that when you bring other people in, no matter if they're black, white, purple, avatar, it don't matter. My resume and what I'm bringing to the table stands head and shoulders above the rest. And the fact that I played, now I can go in there and I can actually identify with the players because I know what their workload is. Same thing with the fans. So that's my mentality in this deal. It's like, listen, you got to have somebody that can bridge the gap between everybody, so everybody understands their role and how we're gonna bring the Super Bowl to town.
Right. All right, man. So we got damn near running out of time, and we got 10 minutes. I want to try to capture a lot of things that you're doing, y'all, because man, uh, G got multiple. When I say multiple, like he don't have one lane that he running in, y'all. Um, he pushing out music too. But
Yeah.
before we get to that, what I want to ask is like as from a DJ to a enthusiast,
Right.
who you who you ride to these days?
Man, to be honest with you, there's a couple of young guys that I listen to. Um, I may listen to some Young Thug every once in a while. Um, I'll listen to a lot of things that we came up on
Mm-hmm.
because you don't never want to lose that foundation. But my
Right.
thing is, I mean, I grew up listening to everything, whether it was country, classical. That was my deal. Football was never my first love.
Right.
Music was my first love, and
Well,
art and all those different.
first of all, I know music was your first love because on Sundays and Saturdays, your daddy was outside watching that truck
Right,
playing a little bit some of everything. But the most of
right,
the time he was playing some blues.
right.
So
Exactly, exactly.
my foundation, my love for blues came from your daddy.
Right, right. I mean, and that's just. I mean, you could step, and we weren't more than 20 to 30, 40 feet away from each other. You know what I'm saying? Across
Right.
the street. So if somebody was outside washing cars, playing music, you heard it, and that could
Yep.
be all the way down the street. And
Yeah.
and that and the inside of the house, you got my mom. She's diverse in music and always humming and singing. And it's crazy because, like I said, I was playing band. I was in the band. I was playing all
Yeah.
the instruments while I was playing football. But it's my brothers that was supposed to be the one that was playing professional sports, but they was in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So so I was like, man, I got to do something with it. But I was always intertwined in music and the music industry. I'm going in about 20 years in the music industry. Whether I was setting up tours for my artists while I was playing, we were putting on shows. I brought Twister and Do or Die to Little Rock back in '04, to the Barton Coliseum, all those different things.
Right.
I've always done that, you know what I'm saying? And that was my biggest thing. But music for me is therapy. It gives me the opportunity to get a lot of thoughts out of my head, and it keeps me sharp. Because I've had a ton of concussions, and I feel myself slipping, and that's why people ask me, why are you doing so much all the time? It's really a reason, because the moment I slow down is when I start to slip.
Right.
I have teammates that are my same age, and they're not doing anything, man, and you can really tell in the conversation that they're not where they need to be. And that's the scariest part for me. And that's why I tell people all the time, man, I stay busy because it helps keeps me sharp. And if I slow down, I'll get to the point where my kids have to finish my sentences and stuff like that. That's not good, man. They need to see me in a better light. So that's why I work on music. I write, I compose, I produce, I engineer. So I do all that, man, just to make sure that I'm staying sharp with it, man. So it's that's the love, man. That art, man. That's me, man.
So you got a relationship with Big Mike, right?
Right, right.
Uh, and like, is it a collaborative relationship, or is it like y'all just like is family plus collaborative?
It's family plus collaborative. We
Okay.
spend time. We'll link up and we'll just talk about life. And just different instances and those types of things. Just check up on each other. But I met Mike back in '08. When I was doing some stuff music wise while I was up in Canada,
Hmm.
and we actually put a album out. On my label, which was I think the reintroduction. He had a mixtape that we did in Rada Music, which was really cool because I did the artwork for that, and then from there we linked back up, about a couple years back, and he was like, "Man, I'm in town. Let's talk. Let's see what's going on." And from that, man, we just got back to it, man, and started making music. And with the COVID-19 situation going on, as soon as that hit, we actually were supposed to be shooting like 2 or 3 of his videos and put some new music out. So we've been kind of having to really focus and revamp the plan that we had, but we are now, starting to try to get some things going for his new album and doing some features on my stuff as well.
So I know, man, you kind of talked offline a couple of times about him releasing music. So does he have a plan to release a full album here real soon, or any
Yeah,
singles?
no, it'll be a full album. He has a few singles right now, and the music is really good. I mean, there's a lot of growth in the music, but it's a lot of the stuff that we grew up on. And that's what I told him. I said, man, I remember when I first started driving, I was just bumping nothing but something serious the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just going through it, and he just started laughing. And it's real cool because whenever he's in town, or any of these artists that I used to deal with, I have them over to the house, and these are people that my wife grew up on. And she's like, "Wow, okay." And she's talking to him and and laughing, and it's cool because she gets the opportunity to enjoy that too. So it's a cool deal, man, to be able to touch some of the guys that we looked at as above our reach, and
right.
still have access to those guys. So it's cool, man.
So you got an artist, you got an artist that's that you're working with right now. I want to play one of the tracks. The title of the track is called "If These Sheets Could Talk." So tell me just a little bit about this artist before I drop it.
Oh man, this is something that like from what I'm working, right? So the premise of the music that I'm putting out is a tale of just growing and growth. Everything I've been through, different relationships, different dynamics, different points of my life. Like a lot of the music is from 20 years or so ago.
Right.
When I first started writing and putting stuff together, and I'd have an idea, and I never really could sit down on it until now. Because realistically, I'm just starting to hang jerseys up. I just set up my studio at home. It's been about 15 years since I had that going. So I'm just putting a body of work together that is a grown man vibe. That's more or less what it is, man. Just talking about my life and things that I've talked with other individuals about and said, you know what, I think that'll be a good song. I think that'll be a good vibe to put out.
So I'm gonna drop this track right quick, y'all. Probably like he sent me 3 tracks to sample. But when this COVID thing kicked off, and when I listened to him, I was like, man, a mix won't do this any justice, man. We gotta actually talk about, we gotta actually have a conversation about the songs. That way, man. One of the things about music, new tracks, is that when I get a new track from an artist, man, I really want to know the history behind the track so that when I'm pushing it, man, I have a rhyme or reason why I'm pushing it other than just pushing a new track. Um, ain't no disrespect to a lot of DJs, but a lot of DJs when they get new songs because it sound hot, they push it because of the name behind the track. I kind of tend to when I connect with artists, want to kind of continue to establish their relationship because of course, over time, I want to be a part of their growth and success. But at the same time, if I'm a support a song, if I'm in the club and I get ready to drop this track, I want to know why I'm dropping this track, so I can make sure the crowd is engaged with this track I'm finna drop. So here it is, you guys. I'm gonna drop this song called "If These Sheets Could Talk." Hands down, man, probably one of the coldest songs he done sent me over the past couple of months. Like it's an old school vibe, but it's like that playalistic type of conversation you would have. So if these sheets could talk. Crowd is engaged with the track up in the shot. So here it is, guys. I'm gonna drop a song called If These Sheets. Yo.
They tell everything that I do that I've done in between us. Every time that it goes down, how they come through.
Yo, when I heard that hook in that song, bro, I was like, hold on. First of all, this like some old school. I'm about to go pick my homegirl up on Sunday. We finna ride. We finna go to the park.
Right.
Murray lock it down with the on the
Right.
lake. Hit some curves and just chop it up. Like, who's singing the hook?
That's one of the producers I have. I got a stable of about 20 or so producers.
Okay.
They some young cats, man. They hungry, man. They real hungry. They about the music, man. They love it.
Man, hands down, like I was in there trying to, put some stuff together, and I cut a track on. I kind of stepped back from my setup. I was like, hold on, dude. Like, wait a minute. Like this song, this song don't do like a mix ain't gonna do this song no justice because the way the way the DJ game going right now, man, it's about man, I'm gonna get fired, man. I'm gonna get blackballed in the DJ game. It's just about shoving music down people's throats at
Right.
this juncture, man. Because I feel like a lot of DJs just want to be seen, but they don't want to entertain no more.
Right.
Um, and to be honest with you, that's part of the reason why I'm one of the few that's not going live, man. Because one, I don't like how social media is treating the DJs, and
Right.
two, it's 17,000 DJs going live every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
It's
and it ain't no real difference between each DJ.
yeah.
You know, it's entertainment, and as long as you're doing it for the people,
Right.
I can rock with that because. Um, I also believe with this COVID-19 situation, the emergence and the importance of the DJ did come back.
Yeah.
And this is to anybody out there listening, man. What are y'all gonna do for the DJs when we open up? Are y'all gonna go back to lowballing the DJs, or y'all gonna actually take care of DJs because the DJs was here for y'all when we ain't had nothing. Just remember
Right.
that. So
Absolutely.
when you with the tracks you got, with the music you doing, like, what's the plan? So, say you get this GM position, right?
Mhm.
How are you gonna be able to manage the music side at the same time?
Well, the music for me, man, that's second nature, man. That's
Okay,
I'm not in it to be a touring and all the other. I've done it already. You know what I'm saying? My thing is more or less it's therapy for me because I get a chance to put music together from scratch. I get a chance to, get my feelings out. The things that I have balled up in me are
right,
the things that I'm not verbalizing. Now that's more or less what it's for. It's this therapy, man. It gives me the opportunity to deal with artists that I grew up looking up to, and just being in that realm. But My thing is, man, it's all about bridging the gap. If you have something that you're really good at, or if you have something that you're interested in, you shouldn't have to suppress it because of certain things that you do.
I
It
can
should
see that.
enhance. It should enhance everything that you have on the table. And the music for me has been that.
Right.
The graphics, the branding. Man, that's what I do. And that's something that'll never die in me, and that's something I see in my kids. They picked up a lot, and I'm like, okay, I get it. It's the same thing with my folks. Just like you said, Pop's out there washing the truck, and he's playing Johnny Taylor and blues and everything else, and all the kids on the block are hearing it. You know what I'm saying? That's embedded in us, and that's exactly what this thing is about. It's like, man,
Right.
we are who we are.
So, man, I honestly, man, like, um, I can't. I can't thank you enough for carving out the time because I know you had a meeting right before this. But like people, for anybody listening, man, thank y'all for tuning in. But one thing I want to say is for anybody out there is when I do these conversations, man, I'm reaching out to people who I know for a fact got a story to tell. I know for a fact they started from the everyday person, but what they did was they took their lives in their own hand and made it to made something out of it, and they ascended and they grew from where they came from, but they also are humble enough to continue to bring people up with them. And they created a platform, they established a platform, and they established a name in the industry or the genre that they're working in. Also, by the way, they're highly respected and highly trusted agents in the field and the craft that they're doing. So and I call that a true underdog. And when y'all see these dope conversations, just understand everybody that I'm bringing to the table, they're underdogs. They're people that people just looked over and didn't think that they were gonna make it, and they turned around and made gold out of a nothing situation. So with that being said, man, um, G, before we get out of here, I want you to do me a favor, man. I want you to tell anybody out there that's listening, because I know your story should be able to reach somebody, whether it's trying to make it to the NFL or whether they're trying to start their own business.
Right.
What's something that you would leaving out of this conversation that you would impart on anybody who has their own business and that they're discouraged with the current return or the current progress of what they're doing and they want to quit? Like, what's something that you would impart on them to make them believe that, hey, what they have is unique, what they're doing is the right thing to do, and
Right.
don't quit and continue to do what you're doing because of whatever reason it is. Like, what's the one thing that kept you going? How can you relate that to somebody that's feeling like they want to quit right now?
Man, it's about finding your purpose. And how you find your purpose is you find what you're passionate about. And once you do that, you start to see, just how it starts to evolve you. You start to mature. You start to think about things different. And it's getting you up out of bed in the morning. I mean, this is something that's bigger than myself. It's something God gave me. And for that, I feel it would be a slap in the face if I didn't focus on what I'm passionate about.
Hmm.
That way, and it's an old cliche of saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. It's the truth. If you know, or if you feel in your heart of hearts that you're doing the right thing, and no matter how slow it's going, or it's just not happening fast enough, it's happening right when it's supposed to happen. And
Right.
I had a conversation with a young man the other day. He's a wealth of knowledge, but he wants it now, and it's that microwave mentality that
Yep.
that really hurts him. And I'm like, listen, man, I like bologna and microwave popcorn, but I prefer steak and lobster. And I said, I'll be damned if I cook a steak and lobster in the microwave, just for the
Exactly.
simple fact that it needs time to cook, that it needs time to prepare. So you have to find, what you're passionate about. And once you do that, man, that'll direct you straight to your purpose. And from there, anything that anybody has to say to you really wouldn't matter, because a lot of times people project their ceilings on you. And I've had that in my entire life, my entire career. I've had every scout that I worked out for tell me you will never make it to the NFL. But
Mm.
2013, they were at my All-Star game and had the ghost face on, like, this is your game? Yes, sir, it is my game.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all for coming. You know what I'm
Prove
saying?
them
So
wrong.
it's one of those deals, man. It's just once you get into your purpose, that's when you really start. You're in the pocket at that point. So whatever you're passionate about, continue to press forward, live in your purpose, and things will work out. This is what it is. Rome wasn't built in a day, and you have to eat an elephant a bite at a time. You can't eat them all at once. So take your time and take your time, and just it'll manifest for you. But you're gonna have to be uncomfortable in the process. It's just like going to a gym. If you're not in that sweating, you're in the way. What are you doing? We're not here for a social hour. We're here to get some things done. If you're in the gym and you're not sweating, you're just holding up the machine. So be impactful with everything you do. Be in your passion lane and be in your purpose, man. It's real simple.
So you said three things, man. I'm gonna hit your sideline, man. You got to text me these quotes because I gotta put them out there. You mentioned you referenced you don't want your steak and potato dinner making it made in the microwave.
Absolutely.
You can't eat it. You can only eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Yes, sir.
And if you're in the gym and you ain't sweating, what you doing?
You in the way. You taking up space. Taking up space. And what's the thing about it's all common sense, man? But
man.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Hey, my sister gonna like the sweating comment. The sweating comment. I can tell you right now. All right, y'all.
What's up, man?
She on right now. I tell her you said what's up. So so we went over our time. Dope. I really want to say I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I want to thank Mr. Garrick Jones for stepping in and giving some words of inspiration and telling the story. So biggest thing is this: find your purpose, take your time. And understand that just because people don't believe in your intent, they don't know your why, reason, or how.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, if you get discouraged, look back where you've been and look back where you ain't trying to, and if that's a place where you don't want to go back to, if that ain't enough inspiration for you, I don't know what is.
Right.
So
yes, sir.
While we checking out, man, I want to send a shout out to my production staff at itsthecity.com. I need you guys to do me a favor, man. This is going to be probably one of the next big waves of social media. So I'm saying that to the man right here so he can look into it and see what it is so he can get his team behind it. But itsthecity.com. Man, look, listen, this site, if you don't have it, download it. It's one of those places where even though we're using the platform, but Facebook, man, kind of blocks you from doing what you want to do. itsthecities.com is developed and established just for people that have events and have something to say. They won't run into the brick walls and algorithms that keep them from being a voice and promoting their businesses. So if you guys need website development, photography, videography, and podcast productions, I need you to contact these folks at info@isthecity.com. That's ISTHE city.com for all your needs. That's who hooked up my show tonight with the graphics and designs. And also shout out to my girl B Michelle. We partners. I work for her, however you want to look at it, but she's a really dope individual when it comes to brand management. So check her out as well. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna check out of here when I drop and I'm dropping the song before I get out of here. It's from my boy, one of my closest friends, former Bad Boy South artist JC. He just dropped a new track called Quick Trip. So we're going to go ahead and drop that and we're gonna exit out of here. G, I'll let you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
I'ma pull up on you like real. every game, I prioritize, yeah. When you in my life, yeah, I'ma pull up on you like real quick. Listen, I ain't one like you real sick. I get everything you need like quick trip, yeah, yeah. In my life, and I'ma pull up on you like real quick. Listen, I ain't one like you real sick. I get everything you need like quick trip, yeah, yeah. Gasoline, kerosene, you make it. I feel flames whenever you're close to me. Dial me up whenever you're in need. Ring, ring. Don't hesitate, I'ma call you back. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you need. You ain't gotta beg, you're a priority. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you need. I know every game, I prioritize.